Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to this video. Thank you for watching this video on Article Standard 5 for APA Code of Conduct. So in this video, we are going to discuss in more details on the Standard 5 about advertising and other public statements. So previously, we have discussed on privacy and confidentiality, Standard 4 under APA, whereby there are further 7 substandards. Okay, in particular, we discussed about maintaining confidentiality. More important, we discussed about the limits of confidentiality, recording, minimizing intrusion on privacy, disclosure, consultation, and we also discussed about the use of confidential information for other purposes. So continuation from this, in this standard 5, okay, one of the most forgotten standards or not really paid attention by most psychologists previously. Okay, if you recall, most of what we have right now is based on qualitative analysis. Okay, the themes, the issues that emerge from the reports on the ethical conduct of psychologists previously. Okay, one of it is the rampant misclaiming about their qualification and etc. So in these standards, we are going to discuss this issue. Okay, there are further 6 substandard under standard 5. Okay, first we are going to discuss about the avoidance of false or deceptive statements. How can we prevent ourselves from committing the same mistake? And then we are going to continue discussing on statements by others. Okay, what are the guidelines? What are the do's and don'ts that we should and we shouldn't do? And then we are going to continue our discussion on description of workshops or non-degree granting educational programs. Okay, there are a lot of workshops, there are a lot of certification, there are a lot of seminars, etc. Okay, in this area. And then we are going to discuss about media presentation, and we are going to continue our discussion about testimonials about our work. And lastly, we are going to discuss about in-person solicitation. Okay, firstly, standard 5.01, avoidance of false or deceptive statement. Okay, what does this mean? Okay, this is basically how can we prevent ourselves from committing the same mistake about sharing false or inaccurate or deceptive statements to the public about our own practice. So in this standard 5.01, there are further 3 substandard, 5.01A, 5.01B, and 5.01C. For 5.1a, basically the whole standards talk about why we shouldn't make any false public statements. Okay, and 5.01b, we are going to discuss psychologists do not make false public statements about our qualification, okay, about our credentials. And 5.01c, we are going to discuss about the standard that talk about that we only claim about our accredited credentials from proper certification bodies. Okay, 5.01a, APA Code of Conduct stated that public statements include but are not limited to paid or unpaid advertisings, product endorsements, grant applications, licensing applications, other credential applications, brochures, printed matters, directory listings, personal resume or CV, curriculum vitae, comments for use in media, okay, such as print or electronic transmission, statement in legal proceedings, lectures, and public or representation and published materials. So public statements include all of these, okay, not only limited to paid, okay, or unpaid advertising. So in this case, we psychologists do not knowingly make public statements that are false, deceptive, or fraudulent concerning our research, concerning our practice or other work activities or those of person or organization with which they are affiliated. So in this case, okay, whenever we engage, communicate, have an interaction with the public, we should not make false statement. Okay, we do not make any deceptive statements or fraudulent statements. Okay, in this case, we should be always need to be on our toes, need to be careful for what we heard and what we deliver to the public. Okay, sometimes you heard rumors. Okay, sometimes you heard that people say, for example, currently in Malaysia, PESIMA is working towards Malaysian Psychology Act So say for example, they say that those who are already registered will automatically be qualified as a practitioner and going to earn license, and then you already claim in your qualifications that you are qualified IO psychologist. Okay, that is not certain yet, it's based on rumors, so you should not make those kind of claim. Okay, so in a nutshell, these standards 5.01A means that we must be honest and accurate in everything we say in public. Okay, we must not lie, we must not exaggerate, we must not mislead others about our work, okay, about our qualifications, about our services. I think 5.01B did specify what are the criteria or elements that we should not play around. Okay, we should not make deceptive statements or fraudulent statement. Okay, so 5.01B stated that psychologists do not make false, deceptive or fraudulent statements concerning 1. Our training, experience or competence. 2. Our academic qualification, academic degrees. 3. Our credentials. 4. Our institutional or association affiliations. Okay, say for example, you are a member of Malaysian Psychological Society, but then you are not member of APA, you are not member of BPS, okay, you are not member of IAAP, okay, International Association of Islamic Psychologists, for example. So, but you put it in your CV, you put in your resumes, for example. So these are basically deceptive and fraudulent. Okay, we don't make false, deceptive or fraudulent statements about our services. Okay, we don't make statements about scientific or clinical basis for or result or degree of success of our services. Okay, we don't make a false claim about our fees. We don't make false claim about publication or research findings. So basically, these are all the areas whereby we should not make any vague, okay, fraudulent or deceptive statements. So sometimes when people want to bid for a project, for a consultancy project, for example, they over-exaggerate their qualification or they over-exaggerate their achievement, okay, while it's basically just a small matter. So these kinds of practice, it should not be happen. So in these are basically what counts as public statements. So public statement in this case also include information that we shared with others, regardless whether it's individuals, okay, whether it's about agency, organizations, or government officers or government institution in this case. So in all of these situations, we must tell the truth and avoid misleading information. Okay, and 5.01C, we or psychologists claim degree as credential for their health services only if those degree were earned from regionally accredited educational institution, or 2, were the basis for psychology licensure by the state in which they practice. Okay, so this is important, okay, because we have local students, we have international students. I think you have come across that in certain countries, you can only practice and get a license if you earn your credentials from the local institution. Okay, examples. In UK, for example, if you want to be psychologist, okay, in there, regardless whether it's IO psychologist or clinical psychologist over there, you must come from the UK system, meaning that your bachelor degree, you must learn from UK universities or any universities that use UK system. Okay, nowadays we have satellite campuses. Okay, we have Nottingham in Malaysia, we have Harriet Ward in Malaysia, for example, we have Southampton in Malaysia. So if people going through the degrees from this institution, even though they are not in UK, but based on UK system, so they can apply for having their master's degree and qualified to become psychologists in UK. So it must coming from their own system. So in that case, when you register for your master program, professional program, so you are entitled or qualified to join their accredited master program. Okay, these are where you will earn organizational psychologists or clinical psychologists. But most of the time, postgraduate students, especially international postgraduate students who went there to take their master program, postgraduate programs, so they are not coming from the UK based system. So in that case, they are not qualified, okay, to be psychologists or to practice psychology at that place, okay, in UK. So in that case, if you still want to earn credential, okay, you want to still practice, so you have to do some form of bridging. Okay, in here we call it as prerequisite subjects. Okay, you have to do or to learn back the bachelor subjects in there. Okay, there are a lot of procedures that you have to follow in order you have to earn. Okay, what happens? Okay, Malaysia have adopted some of these. Okay, some of these. So a couple of my students wanted to pursue masters international universities, okay, in Australia, New Zealand, UK especially. So when they go there, they only do 1 year master program. Okay, so their name of program is Applied Psychology Program. Okay, Master in Applied Psychology. Okay, without practicum, okay, without professional without internship under professional supervisors, for example. So when they come back, they actually cannot claim as psychologists. Okay, they cannot claim psychologists, especially in clinical psychology. So you must follow certain procedure. For example, your master programs must have internship, okay, supervised by professionals. So in this case, although, say for example, this person come back, although he or she have bachelor degree, maybe from Malaysia, maybe from UK, but her master or his master degree is from UK, and they only take master in applied psychology, 1 year without internships. Okay, so basically they are still not qualified to practice in Malaysia. So they have to follow the exact procedures stated by the specific country. So in that case, they cannot claim that they are psychologists. Okay, I don't want to go into politics, but recently there are cases whereby certain politicians carry on using doctor, although he's not been registered under Malaysian Medical Association (MMA) and has not been practiced, and etc. But those kind of scenario that we want to avoid. Okay, we don't want to confuse the public, and we want to protect our profession. So this standard 5.01, okay, on avoidance of false and deceptive statements is very important in a way that when we want to protect, okay, ourselves, okay, our professions from those so-called scammers, okay, those who don't have a proper qualifications, okay, to protect the professions, and more importantly, is basically to protect the public from getting false services, okay, being misled to a more scam or inaccurate or false program or false institution. So in this case, when we adhere to these standards, it maintains trust in psychology as a profession, and it's ensure that decisions about the services, the treatment, the interventions, research are based on accurate information, based on people who have received a proper qualification. So in short, our profession require honesty. Okay, honesty in our services, in our professional duty, and these are basically our responsibility, and it's not a choice. Okay, we must all follow.